Hi, Diksha. Really excited to be talking to you. Thank you so much for doing this for us. Of course, as you're aware, the Delhi government launched the Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University last year, and preparations are in full swing to introduce a whole lot of courses, in the next couple of months. As part of this, of course, there are courses. There's a course on e-commerce as well, which is going to be launched, which is a 3-year program. So we would, just love to hear from you a little bit about yourself. So if you could start by introducing yourself, and then we'll take it from there. These videos are going to be shared with students and parents, so that they can get a flavor of what does it really mean to work in this industry.
Thanks, Aparna. Pleasure to be here. I'll start off with an introduction. So my name is Nisha. I did my schooling was pretty much, all over the country. My father was a government officer. So we spent around 2 to 3 years in different state capitals. And that's how my schooling happened. Right after that, I went and I did my undergraduate degree from Delhi University. So very much a part of Delhi's been like a very big part of my life. I did my economics honors from there. Straight from there, I went and did my MBA from IIM Lucknow, where I majored in marketing and economics. And right after that, my first job was actually a very traditional job, something that, most people would sort of, kind of go for. It was, I was doing a role in mid-markets banking with Standard Chartered Bank. And I was there for around a year and a half. And right around that time, because this is around 2014, so right around that time, there was a lot of, e-commerce was really kind of becoming mainstream in India around that time. We were hearing about a lot of, people doing interesting things in Mumbai, in Bangalore and things like that. What I had started to do at that time was that, I really wanted to be part of this new economy that was being built in whatever capacity I could. I wasn't sure if I had the right skill sets, but I felt reading all the stories that I did, I felt that, I would sort of imbibe them along the way, as long as I got the opportunity to kind of be a part of something. So I started to reach out to a lot of incubators, VC funds that were, you're sort of mentoring early internet companies, etc. And I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to, have a conversation with the investors behind Growth Story. Growth Story was the venture fund that was backing Big Basket, Bluestone, etc. And they were sort of starting up this home services marketplace called HouseJoy. So it was still in conception stage when I got a chance to sort of speak to the founders, and they were actually, the chemistry kind of hit it off, and, they were sort of kind enough and trusting enough to give somebody like me. I was a 24-year-old with barely any, skills, non-engineer, etc. The chance to set up, one of the categories in the home services marketplace. So I set up their beauty salon at home business. And I was there for 2.5 years. So those 2.5 years were probably the most, I probably learned the most in my life in those 2.5 years. There's nothing really like setting up a business from scratch, right? Whether you're doing it as an employee or whether you're doing it as a founder, you learn a lot about basics, and you also learn a lot about different complex things. So I did that for 2.5 years. We managed to do, prove the concept. We managed to scale it up to 10 cities. We managed to make the category profitable. Lots of learnings there. And right after that, I wanted to actually do something on my own. So I started a content come commerce, marketplace with another colleague of mine from HouseJoy. And we ran that for, around a year and a half. Lots of learnings from that experience as well. We managed to kind of build a very organic platform wherein we had around 10,000 visitors in a month. Lots of learnings also leading to the fact that, we felt that the commerce part of it was not really scaling up at the way we wanted it to. And we sort of recognized that, we probably need to learn a lot more before we kind of attack this problem in a better way, smarter way, so on and so forth, which is when Zomato happened. So being here for the past almost 3 years, Zomato again, it's a big part of the internet ecosystem in India in general. So I've been a part of the online ordering world since I've been here. So bunch of things here as well. I learned how to the scaling of Zomato from 15 to 500 cities was one of the things that I was a part of. Apart from that, building out the playbook for merchant growth, restaurant growth within Zomato has been what I've been doing for the past year and a half. So yeah, that's been the gamut of my experience so far.
Lovely, and I think we're all benefiting from that, right? So thanks. I guess that's a very, very exciting journey that you've had, and also, tried your hand at entrepreneurship as well, which is very, very exciting. So, Diksha, would love to understand from you a little bit. You've moved from House Joy, then trying entrepreneurship now at Zomato. What were some of those skills you felt these really sort of helped you in each of these jobs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think there are some core skills that kind of help you a lot when you're working in the internet ecosystem, because I think one of the things to remember is that this is still an industry in pretty much the early stage where the rules are still being written. It's not like there are obviously some learnings that have come along the last 10 years, 15 years, etc. But you can't sort of compare it to, say, an FMCG or a metals industry or heavy industry, a heavy deep industry, etc. So I think one thing that really helps when you work in any kind of an internet setup is to keep a very open mind. And I say that in the sense that whether you're attacking a consumer problem or whether you're attacking a merchant problem, it's very easy to kind of, start thinking in very set frameworks and start solving a problem, in a very sort of traditional manner. Whereas the whole point of setting up an internet company is that you want to unlock some of the benefits that a wide network kind of gives you, right? Which you can't do in a static sort of, industry. So I think that is one thing that really helps. Apart from that, I think you have to always sort of keep yourself open to a lot of the things that happen outside of your work. So if I give you a couple of examples, I think most of the people who've ended up founding a company or have done really well in internet companies, whether it's in the US or in India, have always had some side hustles along the way. Side hustles basically would mean just doing a couple of projects on the side, trying your hand at maybe running something on social media for somebody, or just kind of trying out maybe a product on a website, etc. So I think that's another thing that kind of keeps you up to speed, because otherwise it's easy to kind of get a little get really into your day-to-day work, and then it kind of ends up becoming boring for nobody's fault, right? So I think that's one more thing that I think's really helped. And yeah, I think apart from that, you have to always, I think one great thing about the internet industry is the depth to which you get to work on data, and the kind of insights that you kind of unlock by just looking at the way people behave on your platform, on other platforms, and you kind of learn to solve problems before they become a problem for your business. So you unlock a lot of things using data, right? So I think these are three things that are peculiar to this ecosystem and that help you do really well.
That's very interesting. And I think if I sort of reflect on what the university is also trying to do, it's not just about imparting a particular skill,
right,
but we're going to make sure that jo bhi student, whoever's coming into the university is taking away certain soft skills, if we can call it that, which is problem solving, keeping an open mind, communication skills, which are, very, very important in today's day and age. So I think that's really great. And the other thing that I really, relate to what you just said about doing projects on the side, because jo practical experience se hum seekh sakte hain, that's, very, very, I mean, of course, theory is there, but, practical experience stands on its own. And that's one of the things ki DSU is also, focusing on that, ki how do we give the students theory as well as practical industry exposure, all of that, so that
Yeah.
when the students are graduating, it's not the first time that they're getting onto the industry floor, etc. So those are some really, really interesting things. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to ask you one thing. What's that one thing you wish, you'd known before you entered, this whole field of, working with internet companies or platforms, etc. Is there something that stands out? I wish मेरे को ये पता होता before I started.
Yeah. Lots of things that I can think of. The benefit of foresight. Yeah, no, I think one thing would be I learned how to use data intelligently very late. I think it took me a good 4 to 5 years to go slightly deeper than what the most obvious guts will tell you. You know what I'm saying? So I think जिसने भी data पे, you've kind of worked on data. What happens is a lot of times you see things that you want to see, and you're very happy with the result of what you are seeing. But it's basically आपको जो देखना है, जो pattern आप देखना चाहते हो, you're basically only seeing that, right? You're not questioning things a lot. So I think when it comes to internet companies and the entire ecosystem per se, right? The having a persistently curious mind and kind of questioning every single thing, right? Because I think the ethos of this entire ecosystem is that let's go to places where we haven't gone before. Let's unlock abilities that we have not had before. So I think if I had, I think just this thing of, let's not get too happy with the first good result that we get. Let's keep drilling, let's keep sort of hammering away at it to get to the most optimized solution. I think that I learned, after maybe making a couple of, not so great decisions and seeing a couple of suboptimal solutions. I think that is something that would have really helped me.
Yeah, no, I think again, fantastic insight, thank you for sharing that. And I think having that analytical mind, knowing how to use data, how to effectively visualize that is very, very important in any industry today.
Yes.
And I completely agree कि you can't just give up कि ये हो गया तो ठीक है, but you always have to keep going at it and saying इसको और better कैसे बना सकती हूँ, right?
That's right.
Lovely. No, I think that's great. So any parting thoughts or any advice for students who will be entering DSCU or other universities who would like to pursue a career in the e-commerce space?
Yeah, no, the only, the advice that, I would have to anybody, like you said, anybody in that age bracket who's looking to kind of, make a career for themselves is I think now people who are in their late teens, etc., have all the resource knowledge, right in their phone, right? So you can find out if there's anything that you have an organic interest in, that you're genuinely interested in, whether it's technology, whether it's fashion, whether it's, it could be literally anything under the sun, right? Do your research, read about things. आपको जरूरी नहीं है कि हम हमेशा ट्रेडिशनल सोर्स से ही we find out all the information that we need. Look at a lot of your sort of podcasts, YouTube videos, make mentors. Even if, let's say, you cannot geographically sort of be near them, you can sort of understand people's thought via so many mediums now, right? There's no dearth of communication anymore. So I think that would be one. And the second would be that the world is genuinely changing. I think anybody who entered the workforce around 2004-5 and then again around 2007-8 can attest to that fact, that the way one would think of careers at the time, whereas now the entire range of options that you see, and it's only going to continue in that disruptive manner, right? So don't constrain yourself and think that there are these 2-3 things that I want to do, and I'm good at it or not so good at it, and so therefore that should define my decision or that should define my life. There's literally so many things that you can do. Just the right amount of research, the right amount of finding the right people to kind of look at, follow. I think that can open up so many gates now. So I would sort of say that keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and do as much research as you can.
Thank you so much. That was really great advice. And I think it's also, as I'm learning more about this space, I think when somebody is looking at the e-commerce space from outside, one only thinks कि इसमें inventory management होगा या ये होगा, but there's just so many other fields within e-commerce that I feel people who are willing to explore, they can find something that works for them. Like you're doing something very interesting by growing the merchants or the restaurants for Zomato. So there will be so many other things that people are doing. It just doesn't have to be what we think of e-commerce as, the traditional stuff. Diksha, thanks so much. This was really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your insights with us.
Thank you, Aparna. Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.